Collins Peru here. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful that you could find time to join me. For those ones who are joining me for the first time, as usual, karibuni sana. I just want to request for your subscription. Thank you. For those ones who are veterans, as usual, you are the reason why I do this again and again. Karibuni sana. Today I want to share with us about work spouses. And you ask yourself, what is this work spouses that you're talking about? Simply put, a work spouse is a colleague at the workplace that you have mutual trust, mutual respect, and you are very close to each other to an extent that you behave as though you are in a relationship. That is simply what it means. And the big question that everyone is asking is it a positive thing or is it a negative thing to have a work spouse? The answer to that, the jury is still away. However, the question that we need to ask ourselves is, at what point do you find yourself with a work spouse? Scientists tell us that for you to be intimate with someone, 3 things must happen. Proximity is one of them. That for you to be very, very intimate with someone, there needs to be a physical distance that is very, very close. At the workplace, you'll find that these people who grow to be work spouses, they are very, very close to each other. They probably share a meal. They share some of the assignments that are given. They share duties and responsibilities. And so it is very easy for them to be very close to each other physically and to share ideas, brainstorm on issues and subjects. And before you know it, these people are into a very, very intimate relationship. Secondly, there is also familiarity. When these people are working together, probably they are in a section, let's say they are in finance, they tend to get very, very familiar with each other because of the nature of their work. They are talking figures, they are talking numbers, and each and every day they are talking the same language. So they become familiar to each other and they grow fond of each other. And then lastly, thirdly, there is commonality. Commonality means that they have a common bond, something that is tying them together. And in this case, it is the finance, it is the accounting that they are doing together. They have common interest at the workplace. And before you know it, these people are into each other and they are fond of each other. Now, the bad part about this is that if you are in a relationship or you're married for that matter and you're not very careful about work spouses, it can actually destroy your marriage. And the reasoning behind this is you spend 7 to 8 hours of your time at the workplace. That is even once in hospitality and even in hospitals, where we find doctors, chefs, waiters and waitresses spending up to 13 to 14 hours at the workplace. You find that these people grow very close to each other because first there is proximity. They have physical contact of each other. There is commonality, they are doing the same things. There is familiarity, they understand each other. Before you know it, if you are in a relationship, it is bound to face a lot of turmoil if you're not careful. And so we find professionals who are well-meaning. They are very professional in their work. Very, very slowly they start having a liking for each other, and before they know it, they are completely madly in love. And this is rooted deeply from the very fact that you spend a lot of time with this person. Organizational psychologists tell us that work spouses increases productivity up to 95%. From an employer's point of view, that is a good thing because a 95% productivity is a good thing. And from an HR point of view, that means that my team is well gelled, and I will want that for all my team members, where they're giving me 95% of their productivity. Scientists also remind us that 85% of people involved in work relationships are bound to stay at the organization up to 90%. Contrary, if should one of the spouses leave the organization, the chances of retaining the remaining spouse is actually 15%. That just goes to tell you that work spouses is not something that can be wished away just like that. But at an individual level, you need to be very, very careful and intentional not to let it drift from being a professional work relationship and to become now an intimate love relationship. In my subsequent sharing, I'll be sharing how to avoid such. And so you find someone who is well-meaning, is very professional, slowly starting to drift, slowly forgetting his family, and before you know it, everyone is talking about what happened. People are asking themselves what happened. It starts slowly, an assignment you're doing together, a project you're doing together. You celebrate successes together, you celebrate your fails together, and before you know it, you are a work spouse. And so it's very important that as professionals we draw that line. It is very important that we have boundaries on how far it can go in terms of having relationships at the workplace, so that even though the productivity is not affected, or even though the productivity is important, that we do not affect our families and our homes and our marriages and relationships outside work because we did not know or we did not have an idea of where we were when we were drifting into work spouses. That is information that I thought you should know. My name is Collins Peru, and thank you for listening.